Coming up, the men's and women's basketball teams continue their assault on Atlantic 10 opposition while climbing in the polls. Owlsports starts now.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Owlsports Update. I'm Jillian Marshall alongside Matt Cohen. Coming up, visiting teams are getting an earful from Temple fans. We'll explain.
And later we take a look at a trio of Temple basketball players playing a major role for the Owls, but not how you might think. Let's turn our attention to the hardwood. The men's basketball team keeps on winning. 6 straight for the Owls, having them ranked in the AP Top 25 in back-to-back weeks. Impressive is the fact that 3 of those wins have come on the road, never an easy task. Temple now finds itself in a 3-way tie for second in the A-10 standings behind Xavier. And we take a look at the Owls' most recent win, a double-digit victory against Dayton on the road. Temple getting it done without Lavoy Allen, who sat out with that sprained ankle. But how about Ramon Moore just continuing to get it done for Fran Dunphy's squad? 26 points, 9 boards for the junior as his stellar season continues. A few days earlier, the Owls hosted Tom Pecor's Fordham Rams inside the Liacouras Center, trying to pick up their first conference win. And we pick up the action early. Juan Fernandez, the dribble drive. Scooty Randall with the miss, but Lavoy Allen with the putback. 2 of his 7 points, 1 of his season-high 14 boards. The rat was on early for the Owls. Here's Scooty Randall from 3, pure. 3 of his 12. 5 Owls scored in double figures in this game. Fordham down 18 at the half. They made it again. Chris Gaston doing work. 2 of his game-high 27, but the Owls just too much. Here's Riley Jefferson, scoops it in, 77-67 the final.
The Atlantic 10 is on fire this season. Currently in first place is Xavier at 10-1. The Temple Owls, Richmond Spiders, and Duquesne Dukes are all tied in second place. And rounding out the top 5 is Rhode Island. The top 4 teams will get a bye into the Atlantic 10 tournament in March. In the ocean, there are schools of fish. In the air, there are flocks of geese. And in the forest and here on North Broad, there are parliaments of owls. This newest group of owls is one reason why the men's basketball team is nationally ranked. Updates Evan Coucher has more.
It might be hard to find a player who enjoys riding the bench. But for the Temple men's basketball team, there are 3 players making the most of the time watching instead of playing. These players are known as the Parliament. A parliament consists of a group of owls. In this case, it's Temple Owls made up of Dutch Gately, Jake Gondino, and Jimmy McDonnell, who sit, or shall I say, stand at the end of the bench, trying to get their voices heard.
The main thing out of all this is all fun and funny and everything, but the main thing is trying to be as enthusiastic and bring as much energy as we can, especially the first half. There's a lot of defense in front of us, and we like to talk to the guys, help them out any way I can, and encouragement. That's our biggest thing, being positive. We're never going to yell at the guys. That's not our job.
I'm not overly concerned about the Parliament, but I am concerned about the 3 guys that make it up. I think the 3 terrific guys who care nothing about themselves and only about the team.
The Parliament is reaching out to the public, trying to gain more fan support. With the group giving constructive criticism on how to properly hype the team, you can follow them weekly on Facebook and their own personal blog spot.
Well, I'm still basically the rookie of the group, but the youngling, he's the grandfather, the builder, and he's like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
With men's basketball being 19-5, they've obviously been giving the right amount of support to keep the team going. This is Evan Coucher reporting for Owlsports Update.
I wasn't with any members of the women's basketball team for New Year's, but I think they all made the same New Year's resolution: don't lose. The Owls were 11-0 in the new year heading into Saturday's home game with an A-10 foe LaSalle, looking to stay unbeaten in the decade and inch closer to an 8th straight 20-win season. The Owls came out on top 72-63, and if you think that's impressive, take a look at what they did to GW last night.
That's right. The women's basketball team put their 12-game winning streak on the line and came out with a record-setting performance against George Washington at McGonigal Hall. 6 players scored in double figures as the Owls beat up GW 89-36. The 53-point win is the largest margin of victory in the program's history. The Owls are 20-6 on the year and 11-0 in conference. In the Liacouras Center, you can hear cheers from every last seat, but there's one section that's always the loudest. The Cherry Crusade has multiple cheers that rain down during the game, but it's the final cheer that gets the most attention. Joining us from the newsroom is Update's Jeff McDevitt, who does believe. Hi, Jeff.
Thanks, Jillian. The Temple Students Section has very few traditions since Fran Dunphy's hiring in 2006. But lately, a group of students and alumni have joined forces to start a chant that puts the exclamation point on every home victory. I believe we should roll that clip.
A 19-game winning streak is no fluke, but at Temple, some might argue the streak is not only about the talent on the court, but also about the chant coming from the stand. It's called the I Believe chant, which explodes from the student section in the final seconds of any home win.
It started with maybe 10 of us doing it, and then it just kept catching on, and now to the point where the entire student section looks forward to the I Believe chant. We have alumni involved, and Jack starts the chant now.
Beating someone really bad, and maybe 5 minutes ago in the game, I stood up out of my seat and I just yelled over at the student section, and nobody paid attention to me, so I did it again, and again, and again until they paid attention. Since then, I've kind of taken it over, I guess.
And pay attention they have. There is no doubt the chant is effective. Who needs a final buzzer when the student section declares a win on its own?
Since we've started the I Believe chant, we've only lost 2 games at home.
And there's no telling where the popularity of this student section tradition can go from here.
I see myself coming back as an alumni and jumping along with everyone else, looking ridiculous, teaching it to my kids, making sure everyone knows it. It's gonna last.
But it'd be great if we could have the whole, our version of like Rock Chalk Jayhawk.
It's not just me leading it and the students cheering back, it's me leading it and everyone cheering back. Or my son or daughter, who's going to be born in 2 months, leading it and everybody cheering back.
Well, I, for one, believe this chant will be around for years to come. As long as the Owls keep that 19-game home winning streak going, that chant will continue. Back to you, Matt and Jillian.
Thanks, Jeff. Still to come on Owlsports Update, Temple has 3 new head coaches. We'll introduce you to the new faces.
And find out how the Diamond Owls are preparing for their season with snow on the mound.
How's everybody doing tonight? Hello. Chrissy, hey.
Hey, Alex.
How are you?
Alex? Alex? Oh. Hello. I'm Mrs. Garcia. We've heard a lot about you.
He is cute. Stop.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
Welcome back to Owlsports. Temple University has not only been recruiting new players for its upcoming season, but new coaches as well. The volleyball, women's soccer, and football teams all have new coaches in charge. Update's Dana Stemrich got to meet all 3 during a recent faculty meet and greet.
It's not every day the university holds a meet and greet for one of its new employees, but it's not every day Temple finds a 2-time national champion to run its football program. Earlier this month, University President Ann Weaver Hart introduced new head coach Steve Adazio to faculty, fans, and alum. As the Owls get ready for their spring program, Adazio is trying to figure out a way to keep the football program moving in the right direction.
We have an athletic program, a football program that's really on the rise right now. They had an 8-win season, a 9-win season. Okay, they played in a bowl game, and what we need to do now is compete for a conference championship on the Eastern Division, total conference championship, and win a bowl game.
The Owls will be looking to adjust to a new coaching style, bringing back 13 starters and many returning players.
Obviously, we were in a spread option style offense at Florida. We'll certainly be utilizing some of those components, but we're going to also maintain some of the things we did really well. We want to be able to keep doing them really well. So they worked, and they fit our personnel. So I think I'd call it merging.
Along with Coach Adazio, the Owls welcome women's volleyball coach Bakir Ganyas and women's soccer coach Matt Gwilliam. Bakir Ganyas hopes for a hard-working but fun season. He's excited for the program and himself starting in a new position.
The volleyball program itself has a lot of history. They have been very successful in the past, and I think this is a great opportunity for me as a professional, but also for the program itself.
With the new coaches comes a fresh start. Reporting for Owlsports Update, I'm Dana Stemrich.
It's been a busy week for the men's tennis team. Last Friday, Temple won 2 of 3 doubles matches on its way to a 6-1 victory over visiting Richmond. The Owls returned to action the very next day, dropping a 5-2 decision to A10 favorites George Washington. The Owls return to action this Sunday when they're slated to take on Monmouth. And how about the women trying to rebound off a tough loss to Penn, taking on Richmond as well this past Saturday? Unlike the men, the women fell to the Spiders, dropping a tough 4-3 decision to the A10 favorites. Senior Lucy Pazarofa and Elise Steiner led the way with the doubles victory. The Lady Owls take on Buffalo this weekend.
As the snow melts away, we're reminded that baseball season is right around the corner. So while we thaw in the Northeast, the Temple baseball team heads south to North Carolina for the start of its season. With 30 away games and 54 games scheduled, the Owls will be keeping their bags packed for the entire season. The Owls are heading to North Carolina 3 times. They'll also travel to New Orleans and Washington, D.C. later in the season. But getting ready for the season isn't easy in February. Updates Brian Kelly has more on how the Diamond Owls coped with the Philadelphia winter.
The weather might not be cooperating outside, but inside McGonigal Hall, baseball is in full swing. Sort of. Temple University's baseball team has been practicing since the fall in preparation for the 2011 season, which starts later this month. While these indoor practices are expected, it doesn't make preparations any easier, especially on a basketball court.
It's tough practicing indoors because you're limited to what you can do.
I say outdoors, it's good for me as an outfielder to see balls way up high that you can't really see in the gym.
Practicing indoors isn't just a challenge for the players. The coaches have to adjust to the situation as well.
The key is for a coach always trying to simulate, the way it happens in a game in practice, even if it's indoors.
Temple starts its season February 18th in North Carolina against North Carolina Central.
We can't wait to go down south. These last couple of weeks of practice, hopefully it goes fast and we get down there as soon as possible.
Last year, Temple had a disappointing season, going 14-37. These off-season workouts are what the players and coaches hope to be the start of a turnaround season.
Obviously, we want to win more games than last year. We only had 14 wins. We're just working hard, and I fully believe that's going to pay off for this year. We're going to have a better year.
From the court to the diamond, Temple hopes the work they put in this offseason will translate to more wins once Old Man Winter smiles on the boys this summer. For Owlsports Update, I'm Brian Kelly.
Well, Jill, it is getting a little warmer outside, so maybe Coach Valley can take his practices outside. Let's go in the nest. The women's gymnastics team has had a fantastic February so far. In 4 meets, it took first in 3, beating Ursinus, Southern Connecticut, and Yale, where they swept all of their events.
The Temple football team announced a new football schedule. In 2013, the Owls will begin play a 3-year series against the historic Fighting Irish. Notre Dame is set to come to the link 1 time, while the Owls will travel to South Bend twice.
And Krista McCarthy and Ramon Moore are at it again. McCarthy is the Big 5 Player of the Week, averaging 17 points per, and Ramon Moore is the Owlsports.com Athlete of the Week, averaging 24 points, 5 boards, and 3.5 assists per game. And, we mentioned all those coaches, those new coaches. Carice Young for the field hockey team now, another new coach, former star.
Yeah, that's great for us. For us at Owlsports, I'm Jillian Marshall. This is Matt Cohen. For everybody else here, thanks for watching.